Hi there, welcome to today's battle report. We're playing with the strange pink foam terrain today, and we're playing a special mission called Sacred Sanctum.
Dum dum dum!
Very holy. So the idea of the mission is that this table here is representative of an old scattered sacred sanctum of some sort, some ancient holy site on this weird alien planet we're fighting on, and there are 6 objectives already on the board. These little pillars look like the holy remains of some ancient ruined church. There, you can tell it's a holy church, probably a church of the Emperor, by looking at the central bit, because that looks really imperial and nice there. Possibly some chaos influence going on. So they're the 6 objectives we play for in this game, but the special rules are that we get extra re-rolls for occupying these objectives. So at the start of every game turn, if we control, i.e. with a troop choice, any of these objectives, we gain 2 re-rolls to use during that game turn for each one we control. If you contest one, so you're there and your enemy's there, or you're just there with an elite or a heavy choice or some such, you gain 1 reroll to use for the rest of the game turn. So it's slightly interesting. We're adding rerolls to the game and we have no clue how they'll pan out. They could be awesomely powerful or they could have very little effect on the game. We shall find out. So we're playing 1500 points today. It is me and I'm bringing my my normal Space Marines. Did I say chaos? Freudian slip there. And Chris over there is bringing his evil Tyranids. So let's go through and see what armies we bought. Okay, 1500 points of Space Marines today. I'm starting off with a bike captain. He's got a relic blade and he's wearing artificer armour. Taking him as my HQ choice allows me to bring a 5-man bike squad as another troop choice, so I've taken one of those. They've got 2 flamers, some melter bombs, and they've got a multi-melter attack bike. Filling out troop slots, we have 2 full tactical squads. One's got a multi-melter, a combi melter, a flamer. They're mounted in a rhino as usual. And the other one has a las cannon and a melter gun, again mounted in a rhino. We have a thunder fire cannon armed by a tech marine at the back there. We have a storm talon there. He's got the good choice of missiles, the strength 7 AP4 ones. Can't remember what they're called. We've got a vindicator. And then we move on to the Imperial Guard Allied Detachment. So we got a Primaris Psyker at the front there. He's going along with a squad of veterans armed with 3 plasma guns, and they're all up in a Chimera with a heavy a heavy flamer and a multi-laser. And then we have a Colossus artillery piece. That's the one that ignores cover saves and has good marine killing power. But unfortunately, I'm not fighting against Space Marines. Oh well, didn't know that when I chose it. Let's see what Chris is bringing.
Oh yes, it's the Nids. So we'll start as the front. Why the hell not? 20 Hormigants for some bit of chargy, choppy chop reaction. 15 Termagants, because you've got to have a good few troop choices, because otherwise you're just not playing Nids really. 10 Gargoyles, or the human shield, well the meat shield as we like to call them.
They ain't
They're
human.
particularly human. They maybe used to be, that's up to discussion later. Some Tyranid Warriors, 5 Tyranid Warriors, 4 with Death Spitters, 1 with a Barbed Strangler, and a Tyranid Prime leading them who's got a Death Spitter. 8 lovely Gene Stealers, the Doom of Malantai, a Venom Thrope, and a stand-in today. The only stand-in I'm doing is, he is actually the Swarm Lord, and he's got 2 Tyrant Guards with him. Bit of choppy. And a Trigon Prime with regeneration. Oh yeah, and the Hormigants have got Toxin Sacks, just so nobody gets surprised by that later on. And yeah, should be fun.
Okay, we've rolled for setup and, as you can see, have setup. So I won the roll for choosing table half, so I've chosen over there as we're playing Vanguard Strike, so I've got that table quarter-ish. I've set up along here, I've got my bikes and half tactical squad. We're each starting with 1 objective in our deployment zone, so we're each taking control of those at the start of the game. So Chris has got troops on his, I've got troops on mine, giving us 2 re-rolls each per phase. Or per per game turn. Jesus, can't remember the right words. So that stuff set up there. I've got another Rhino there with half another tactical squad in it. The Thunderfire is at the back here. Chris is slightly fearful of these 2 models back here. Both of them ignoring cover, which is a pretty useful weapon against the Nids. I've got my guard in the centre there. Another 10-man tactical squad this side, along with the Vindicator. Chris has infiltrated his Gene Stealers over here, hiding behind this large promontory of rock, and then he has basically a massive swarm, Termagants, and then we've got Hormigants over here with Gargoyles in front of them. Doom of Malantai is walking up that flank, the Swarm Lord's in the centre there. He's got his Venom Throat there, all the lines leading out from it, thus granting them all better cover saves, and he's got his Tyranid Warriors slightly hanging back at the minute due to the Vindicator, who's pretty good versus them being able to double tap them out. Okay, so Chris won the role to choose where he wanted to go first or second. So he's chosen to go second, forcing me to set up first. But now I think he is going to try and steal the initiative, as always happens.
Do you believe him?
Here comes the 6. It's a 3! I didn't have the initiative stolen. Awesome. Okay, we'll report back in a minute. Okay, Imperial or Space Marine Imperial Guard Alliance, turn 1. So I basically moved forward slightly, so I've got a troop choice on this objective. I've got my bikes within distance of that objective, and I've still obviously got this one. So at the start of the next game turn, if Chris hasn't knocked me off them, I'll be getting 6 rerolls. Saying about rerolls, I kind of forgot about them this turn. A good start with my memory.
That'd be really awesome.
So I fired basically a load of stuff over at Chris, but he had his Venom Thrope in the centre giving out cover save, and then obviously the night fighting, which we rolled for the first turn, aided the cover save given by them. So things were reasonably resilient, and Chris had done a good job at placing all of his units slightly out of range of all of my heavier weapons. Like I couldn't get my las cannon on the Venom Thrope, and I couldn't get my Thunderfire cannon on much, but they're going to have to come to me, so that's not the end of the world. I've removed the gargoyle screen, nabbing myself first blood as we go. I ended up firing 6 bikes at the last single remaining gargoyle because I'd failed to kill it previously. I've taken out.
You'd had a re-roll on that
Yeah,
Thunderfire.
if only I had a re-roll.
Only.
I've taken out a few of the Hormigants with my Vindicator. He's earning his points back.
2 Termies, yeah.
And a reasonable amount of Hormigants with combined fire from bolt guns from a couple of different units. Not the end of the world. I would have liked to have killed the Venom Thrope or possibly the Doom that turn, but didn't expect a whole lot with the night fighting going on. Let's see if Chris can do much in back.
Turn 1 for the poor indigenous life forms trying to defend their home against the evil Imperial invasion. And it wasn't actually that bad. Considering the small amount of shooting I've got, it actually was fairly effective. Everything swarmed forward. Obviously the Hormigants run in, and they've been given the Telekine Dome to give them a bit extra survivability as they charge forward to try and hurt whatever they can grow their grubby little claws on. The Stormlord caused Iron Arm on himself and got 3 extra toughness and Eternal Warrior, so he's feeling quite
I'm not going to shoot him.
He's still within cover save of the Venom Thrope as well, as are the Warriors, because unfortunately that Strength 10 Git is well within range now. So we've adopted the Hall manoeuvre and spread ourselves out as quick as possible. The Termagants and the Gene Stealers heading in as well. The Gene Stealers are trying to tear apart that Vindicator as quick as they humanly can, or inhumanly, obviously. The Doom Malantai dropped his pie plate over here, caused 1 wound, but did 3 to himself, so he's actually down to strength 2, wounds 2. He's not actually really performing entirely well at the moment. Otherwise, a few shots from here. The Barb Strangler and the 1 Death Spitter were in range and took out 3 Marines, which was quite nice for that limited amount of firepower.
Yes, 2 as well.
The re-rolls so far have been 2 working for me and 2 failing for Mike. So at the minute, I'm liking the re-roll rule. And next turn, we both get 6 because we both hold 3 objectives. These are mine, and those are Mike's.
I may be needing to retreat from mine though, as there's a swarm
Indeed,
of
I'm
Tyranids
hoping to push him off of his, and maybe that might swing the battle a bit more. We shall see next turn.
Okay, Imperial turn 2. I first of all rolled for my Storm Talon coming on, but he didn't make it. And the rules don't state I can re-roll that with my re-rolls, which they may state in the future we can do that, but it couldn't at the moment. So I pulled back slightly. It's a bit of a tricky balancing act to trying to stay out of range of that big bastard back there, because I literally had nothing to deal with him, but I wanted to still remain within kind of like rapid fire ranges of the smaller units, but I pulled back a little bit and shot again basically. Over here, this squad moved back, took a bit of cover behind their Rhino from the Tyranid Warriors, and opened up on the Gene Stealers. Only managed to kill 2 or 3, and then the Vindicator joined in the fire, but again, he could only clip a couple, so there's slightly more Gene Stealers left than I was hoping. Obviously, I was hoping there would be none left, and there's 3. They probably can't threaten my Marines particularly well, but the Vindicator could be in trouble if they can get to it. I also fired the Colossus over here at the Gene Stealers to try and whittle them down, but it scattered quite spectacularly and took out 4 Termagants. Over here, the Hormigants there, they had their nice invulnerable save given to them by the Hive Tyrant, so I ignored them with quite a few of my things, but then I opened fire with the Thunderfire cannon at them, and he hit 12 times on them and removed about 8 of them, I think.
He did to get 8.
Chris was not rolling particularly special for his saves. By combined fire from this tactical squad here, and I think those bikes there, we managed to take out the Doom of Malantai.
The Doom is gone, yes?
Oh, sorry, it wasn't him. There was those Marines over there who moved over there and got out. Combined fire from those plus the bikes took out the Doom. And the las cannon up here on this hill, he shot down and removed the Venom Thrope. Even though Chris used one of his rerolls on his save, he still couldn't get it. So I've removed those two single models, which is quite nice. The Imperial Guard in the back of here popped up with their las guns and managed to take out one of the Tyrant Guard.
Plasma gun.
Plasma guns, sorry, yeah, las guns weren't going to cut it. Took out one Tyrant Guard. Because it's a unit of 3 models, even though the Hive Tyrant had toughness of 9, the majority toughness of the unit was only 6 at that point, so I took out one, but now the unit has toughness 9, so I stopped firing at it at that point. If he can roll a 1 on his dice, then hopefully we will improve and then we can deal with him when he's only toughness 7. Okay, so let's see what Chris does. He's going to advance towards me a bit and the Trigon is going to come on, which I fear quite a lot.
End of the Noble Creatures turn 2. The Noble Creatures are getting increasingly thin on the ground. The Hormigants charged at the bikes because they're going to get shot to death otherwise and just...
There's a chance you could lock them in combat, wasn't there?
They got burnt a bit by flamers and then just chopped apart by the power weapons, so the Hormigants are no more. The Thunderfire Cannons did so much damage to them last turn, there was just not enough impetus left. The Stormlord continues his slow, merry walk towards the enemy.
He's toughness 9 again, though, isn't he, Chris?
Where I forgot to run, unfortunately, because I'm in...
Ah, well, you can do that now.
Ah, I see. Mike is a very good player to play against. If you ever get a chance to, he's very, very honourable and he's a very good player, so do feel free.
If I'm losing, in which case I'll stab you in the eye.
Oh, yeah, obviously, but that's only fair. So, yes, we'll move him forward 5 because he should be running, because what the hell's he doing if he's not?
Lonk. Now he's even closer.
Now he's closer. It looks much better now he's that close to the bikes. The Warriors are advancing back here. They took some pot shots at that Rhino, which has blown up. Well, it's just but glanced to death. In fact, the Barbed Strangler managed to clip a couple of Marines, didn't actually do anything.
I used my rerolls.
The rerolls survived quite well. The Genies tried the charge against Vindicator and failed, so the Genies are just going to get slaughtered next turn. They've got no chance.
Just know that Red Rhino is in a really piss poor place. My Vindicator firing at your Warriors.
Luckily, yes, that was a good part of the plan. Is that I've actually kept the Warriors fairly safe from being attacked by long range fire for most of the game so far, and they'll be able to hold objectives for me, which is realistically what they're there for. They're nice heavy troops.
Yes, you're getting more
objectives
now than me. I think how many have I've got 2 now, and you've got 3.
Yeah, you consolidate back onto that one. So yeah, absolutely, you've got.
I had to move off this one.
These boys came down here, and I think was it just them, or was it the last gun that killed the Doom and Malantai? But we already did that in your one, wasn't it?
This fucker over here appeared.
What happened nicely on this one was the Trigon appeared, and he couldn't assault, so he just shot. He's a Trigon Prime, 12 strength 6 shots. He blew it up. And he actually probably blew it up, but of course he just laughed mockingly at the explosion damage. The Tech Ring got caught in it, and he didn't care either because of his two-up save. So it's a case of, interestingly, I'm sure Mike's going to fire everything available in the back end here to the Trigon. If he survives the next turn, he's going to start causing unholy carnage. If he dies next turn, I think that could be it. It's going to be very hard to recover from that because there's a good chunk of my points left. However, the Swarmlord is unharmed, the Warriors are unharmed, and the Trigon is completely unharmed.
Really need my reserves in this turn.
Yeah, the Storm Raven, the Storm Talon would be a good extra bonus for him because those Strength 7 missiles will have a bit of impact. Otherwise, I'm getting quite thin on the ground, but I'm in good positions. So it comes down to I'm going to lose that left flank because it's going to wipe out those Genies and those Space Marines are going to be able to come and take out those Termagants. But then they're going to be fighting the Warriors. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, Imperial turn 3. Again, I had to back away from stuff. With Chris rolling another 3 for his Iron Arm, making that toughness 9, I still don't really have anything that can hurt it particularly well, especially with the Tyrant Guard still there. So all this stuff took steps back, so it's still in range of its objective, so I'm still getting the points for that. Unfortunately, that's the only one I'm going to get points for at the end of next turn, which is a bit of an issue. The bikes move back down here to try and deal with the Trigon that was there. I'll get to that story in a moment, as did the Chimera, which backed up to there. These guys moved over here and managed to Flamer and Bolt Gun. Only just managed to Flamer and Bolt Gun the last of the Gene Stealers to death. And the Vindicator moved here and fired through that gap over there and managed to take out one of the Tyranid warriors, which was okay but not brilliant. Over in this corner, the Marines mounted up again and went over there and flat outed their Rhino to get to there. Oh, I'm going to pop smoke as well. Ho ho ho, I remembered something. Just a bit of a distraction unit over there really, and to get round, because I'm doing quite a good job of wiping out Chris's stuff, but unfortunately, being an objective game, I'm only really near two of the objectives, with a Swarm Lord can guard quite a few of them, and Chris has still got a good amount of troops over there. Okay, my Thunderfire cannon could probably deal with the Termagants with a good turn of shooting, but the Warriors are proving pretty hard to shift. So I really need to make a move over there in the next couple of turns. But over here was the success story of the turn. So I backed up with the Chimera and opened the back hatch as you generally do, and the 3 plasma gun veterans popped up. I hit with all 6 shots from the plasma gun veterans, which was quite nice, but then I failed to wound with all but 2 of them. But I picked up all of my reroll dice I had for the turn and got 5 wounds on him, which was really handy. No, 4 wounds, wasn't it?
4 wounds from them.
Got 4 wounds down on him from those. Then I opened fire with all the bikes and I managed to get another wound through. Chris was re-rolling saves, but he failed to do it each time because it's only a 5+ cover going through there. And then I opened up with the las cannon up here, and again Chris re-rolled his save but failed to make it, and the Trigon was no more. Thus the Thunderfire cannon lives. That was all I really did on my turn. It was just concentrate fire onto that and taking out the Gene Stealer over there. The Thunderfire cannon fired over at the Tyranid warriors did 2 wounds, but it was reasonably inconsequential. Okay. Oh, and that little git down here, still off the board. I really should take a comms relay or something when I take flyers.
End of Tyranid turn 3, and things are looking ropey to say the least. I have 3 units left on the table. These warriors are basically cowering because that Vindicator can just double them out and wipe them out, and this is going to be coming over to take objectives, so they've got to sort of hang around to try and hold objectives, but that's just going to pepper them with shots until they die. The Swarm Lord tried to charge on the bikes but failed his roll, even with re-rolls.
Even with your re-rolls, couldn't quite get there. Well, no, I say couldn't quite, you rolled appalling.
Yeah, I rolled 5 out of the 10 inches I needed. I re-rolled the 1 of my 1 and 4 and got a 1 again. So he couldn't make it, and that's basically it. I can't see how I'm going to get out of this one. He's on area denial of 4 objectives, but with the Vindicator, those Marines, and that Storm Talon being able to come in next turn, these guys are in serious trouble. So I don't think I'm actually going to score any objectives by the end. We've got 2 more turns of firing, which are going to melt me. We'll see.
You're reading my mind. Stop it.
We shall see, though. So I don't hold out a great deal of hope, but we'll see how it rolls.
Okay, Space Marine and Imperial Guard turn 4. So, continuing the previous theme, I've kind of like backed up a little around here. The bikes over here jetted this way and then turbo boosted over to here. They're still in range of a charge from the Swarm Lord, but he'll need to roll something like a 9 or a 10 on his charge again. So, and that would also bring him out of the centre. And because I've got a lot more scoring units left, I wouldn't mind that so much. So I've kind of like baited a few units around here, hoping he'll pick one. The Chimera down here is the closest one, and they fired all their plasma guns out as they were within 12. I managed to get a good 5 hits on him, but because he's toughness 9, I'm needing 6s to win my plasma guns, so they did nothing either. I again managed to cast Psychic Shriek, but he again rolled less than 10 on his leadership, but I can't really complain because I rolled less than 9 on 3d6 to cast it. The Thunderfire cannon over here shot over at the warriors and managed to kill 1 and a bit of them. Down here, the Vindicator also managed to take out 1, which was good. Oh no!
It hit both?
Oh, yes, I hit 2 of them. I failed to wound with my 2+ to rolls with both of them, so I used my 2 re-rolls for the turn because I only had 1 objective this turn, which was that one there. I used both my re-rolls to get 2 wounds through on them because I really wanted to deal them some damage. But then Chris rolled 2 5+ because he had cast Telekine Dome with his Swarm Lord that turn, which was pretty sweet for him. These Marines here and these Marines over there combined to kill a reasonable amount of Termagants. I didn't roll particularly well, and there are still 3 of them left. This bad boy finally arrived, better late than never, and he fired over and I think he took out another one of the warriors. So they're down to 3 this turn, which is reasonable. And that was about it. My vehicle took pot shots at Termagants and such, but failed to wound. And the las cannon over there also failed to hurt the Swarm Lord, which was annoying.
End of Tyranid turn 4. They don't take long. The Termagants moved up, took that objective and got closer to cover, but these Marines will absolutely devastate them in short order. The Warriors shot at those Marines and took 2 out, and the Swarmlord attempted a charge on the bikes, but even with rerolls, didn't make it. That's it. That's what happened. We'll see what happens next. I can't imagine it will be pretty.
Okay, Space Marines turn 5. So basically, I had my stuff here. The bikes were pushing up through there so they could turbo boost onto these objectives where there are Tyranid warriors in between. I moved my Vindicator up. These Marines here were Flamer and their Combi Melter, the Storm Talon, and they basically all fired at the 3 Tyranid warriors, and the 3 Tyranid warriors died. Over here I've got 5 Space Marines, they've killed 2 Termagants and charge and kill the next one. So I've got that objective, this one, and the bikes are going to turbo boost over there. So at that point we've called the game as Chris is out of troop choices. He's still got the indestructible Swarmlord left, but he can only charge 1 unit, and I've got troops on that objective, troops on that objective, troops on that, troops over there. So I've basically managed to manoeuvre around the Swarmlord. I mean, what do you think of the game, Chris? It wasn't the best of games due to the fact that I shot you as you moved across the board, and the only thing I couldn't kill was the Swarmlord.
Yeah, it's the problem of Edition 6 and Tyranids. There is only one way to play Tyranids. Now, that's it. With Flyrants and loads of Psychics. Now,
you don't play loads of Psychics, so you can't really play the army you've got, unfortunately, because
that's it.
You just had no way to really reach out and hurt me.
Yeah, and you need lots of Flyers now. It's in 6th Ed there's only one way to play Tyranids. It's a shame because I was trying something a bit different and I just got danced around because 6th Ed's all about much more manoeuvrability and Tyranids just don't.
That's it. I mean, we didn't know which armies each other were playing, but we obviously know which armies each other collects. Yes. So I bought a Thunderfire cannon. It's just lethal.
Oh, it's an awesome gun against any swarm army.
It just looks at a squad of 20 Holmagants or Termagants and goes, meow, yeah, take them off the board.
Yeah, it did its job nobly.
Yeah.
It then started to have trouble firing the bigger things, but that's fair enough. It's not supposed to be killing everything. It did an awesome job.
I mean, you're rolling in the last 3 turns of trying to assault with this guy. Because we were playing with the rerolls, and Chris, because he was pushing me backwards with his way forward, he had a lot more rerolls than me in general. You were generally getting 6, in the last few turns I only had 2 at most.
Yeah.
And you kept on using them to try and assault with this guy, and you just kept on failing.
Yes, I did not get to hit attack and a single assault all game.
Yeah, that I think tells the story. Oh no, there was one. You assaulted 3 Hormagants.
Oh, sorry, my 3 Hormagants charging into White Squad and died. Sorry,
there were more Hormagants, but I burnt them to death.
Yes. So yeah, that was it. It's just lack of manoeuvrability. Without playing the only Tyranid army that works, you just get danced around and.
That's it. Flyrants are the only things that have got decent movement in the Tyranid army.
And Harpies can fly. They're not bad flyers, but they're nothing. They can't take out flying vehicles very well. They're not strong enough. So it's Flyrants and Tervigans, because then you can spawn loads of stuff and keep a constant.
And the Tervigans are the psychic as well, aren't they? It's if you can get enough. If you get enough, what's it called? What's that Biomancy one that gives -1 toughness?
Oh, Enfeeblement.
If you get enough Enfeebles, you can make it so your bolt guns on your Termagants are really good.
Yes.
But normal bolt guns on Termagants are not very good because they don't hit and wound very well.
I had one of the ultimate close combat things in the game on the board, and he just could not get into close combat.
Yeah, that's it. He didn't get into a single assault. I mean,
the entire game. So
he didn't take a single wound either. But
that's it. He didn't achieve anything.
But no. Because I just didn't fire him, did I? I spent 1 turn shooting at him and there was nothing else to target, but other than that, it wasn't needed.
Yeah, so from that point of view, he did his job then, but he didn't actually achieve anything. And the amount of, that's a 400-point unit.
Yeah, taking that much out of your army.
Nothing.
Yeah. Not enough. Yeah. I feel if we were in Standard Dawn of War, I can't retreat as well, but as we were saying earlier, if you play either the Hammer and Anvil, which is the 2 long table edges, or even this Vanguard Strike, I had too much distance. I could back away into the corner, so I just backed away, and then I shot some units up there, and I went this way with the other units, and your dude was in the middle, and he had the option of charging one of the units, but the rest of them would always get away, so it just wasn't that useful, was it?
Yeah, and with the advent of Snapfire and everything can keep moving fluidly, even have a chance to do damage, and it's just a change of the game, and Tyranids are behind the curve at the moment for that, unless you optimise them in the one way you can. And I don't like having armies you can only play one way.
No, that's it. I mean, going back to the Space Marines, kind of the flip side, I think in 6th edition, the standard Space Marine Codex is brilliant.
It's awesome. It's
got loads of really good choices, things like the Storm Talon, which obviously they've added in, and the Thunderfire Cannon with the new artillery rules making it toughness 7 is
And
awesome.
even scouts with snipers, because
Yeah,
you pick
scouts
things
with
off.
snipers.
The normal Space Marine Codex gives you so many nice options.
That's it, and having heavy weapons that can snap fire when moving means they're more viable in
Exactly.
tactical squads.
Yeah.
Just and bikes being toughness 5. Oh, loads of different things combined to make I think the Space Marine Codex really strong now.
Yeah.
Much stronger than the Blood Angels and the Dark Angels, who I also play.
Yes.
But
yes,
they
agreed.
just seem a more viable and certainly a more option-filled army. Quick bit on the mission. I think the mission worked well. It just wasn't really. I won the game by killing you, not by winning the mission.
Well, the mission was interesting because it turned the tide of the game dramatically in one turn.
Yeah, the re-rolls there when I re-rolled my
When you killed the
plasmas.
Trigon casually with that re-rolls of the plasmas, that
Yeah.
turned that side of the board instantly, because that was my only chance, was to have the Trigon over there and keep pushing you from that side, the Swarm Lord pushing you from that side.
Yeah, because he came down and he killed the Colossus, and the next
Yeah.
turn he'd have eaten the Thunderfire cannon, and that would have been my long-range fire gone.
Yeah.
Which would have been good, but the fact that I managed to turn around and I got 4 wounds with the plasma squad on him was really good. 'Cause on average, the plasma squad gets 2 to 3 maybe, but with the re-rolls I could guarantee the 4, which was really helpful. And the re-rolls probably favour Marines slightly more because, say I've got my hit rolls are 3+s and my armour saves are 3+s, so when I re-roll I'm having a 3+ re-rollable.
Yeah.
Whereas Chris was using a lot of his for re-rolling his saves, but in general the Tyranid saves are 5+ cover saves or some 4+ armour saves, so the re-roll is less useful. You had more of them, but because you were re-rolling mainly 5+s, you didn't pass very many of them
That's
even with
it,
the
so
re-rolls.
So like the demons get an invulnerable save generically, and they're much faster. So it's like the demons serve the same purpose now as the Tyranids. They're even a swarm army now, but they're faster, more robust, come with invulnerable
I suspect
save.
the demon army is kind of like a guidepost on what Tyranids be. I think they will be a lot faster.
That's
when they
what
come
they
out.
need. They
I think things like the
desperately need-
Hormigants will become beasts, and the Gene Stealers will have some extra movement rules and such.
Exactly. That's what they need at the moment, realistically speaking.
Okay, I have to call into the video there as the camera is flashing madly at me. Have fun, folks.